What is going on, everybody? It's your good friend Random Hero Gaming here. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about this birth rate crisis that's going on, that people like Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson are ringing the alarm about. And they all have their solutions for it. But first, let's talk about what the problem is here. Why are birth rates collapsing? Is it a problem? Well, birth rates seem to be collapsing because cost of living, it's impossible to take care of yourself, take care of a wife, take care of another human, a baby, when you can't even afford rent. When rent is $1,800 a month if you want to live near a city on your own or even with a roommate. It's very expensive, the cost of living. And the other issue is women pursuing higher education. I mean, you could break it down by education level, the birth rates. And women and men that pursue higher education, doctor, lawyer, anything with a graduate's degree, those people tend to have fewer kids because it takes longer to get through school, takes longer to get your career going, and then that window of reproduction is a lot smaller compared to someone who goes and joins a trade school after high school and has more time to produce kids. Also, having a lot of kids is kind of correlated with intelligence as well. You're not really thinking too much. You can't control your animalistic urges, and you just pump out a bunch of kids. You're not really thinking too straight. So I think all in all, it has to do with women pursuing higher education. It has to do with our currency being devalued. And those are nothing new. Those are pretty well-established things. You don't need to have a giant 150 IQ brain to know that. But people like Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson say the way to fix this is to have as many kids as you can. Just pump out a bunch of kids and don't even think twice about it. We need more babies, start having more kids. And again, these people, like Tucker Carlson, literally podcasts for a living. He's a baby boomer. He was born into extreme wealth. And then he'll say things like, oh, well, poor people have a lot of kids. It's not about cost of living. It's not about this or that, whatever. But my argument against that is nations with the highest birth rates also contribute the least to technology, to medicine, to anything that matters, anything important. And that's where I think quality of human in society very much outweighs quantity. And people that, certain demographics, such as the African American community, Hispanic community, they have higher on average birth rates, but you have to divide your attention and your resources between more kids. That's why these kids tend to end up more in prisons, in gangs, involved in criminal activity. So that you don't want that for your society. And then you go to countries like India that are above replacement level right now. And those societies are not ones you even want to live in, let alone visit. So I don't think that's the way to solve this. I think we need to put that propaganda aside. Elon Musk at the end of the day is a billionaire. He needs more taxpayers. He needs more people buying his products, blah, blah, blah. So he needs more people. But for the rest of us that are really struggling to get by, to live like a slave, to just pump out 9 kids when you can barely afford to live yourself is not the right solution, I think. I don't think it is. I don't think you want more broken people, because that just leads to a broken society, crime, fatherlessness, all kinds of bad stuff. It also has to do with the horrible divorce laws and just about. Again, people argue this, but for first marriage, it's a 44% divorce rate. So that's pretty damn high, and the laws are not in your favor if you're a man. So that makes marriage less appealing. And again, these people ringing the alarm about birth rates are mostly people that stand to profit off more taxpayers, more workers, more people buying their products, more consumers. But we can get to a time again where the family is reestablished, where the nuclear family makes a comeback. I think only 20-something% of households are traditional nuclear family right now, compared to 40 in like the 80s. But the other issue is men and women used to pair up for convenience. It used to be a man would be the hunter-gatherer. They had the muscles and strength to ward off animals and warring tribes, and they can actually hunt and kill the animals. They were strong enough. Now, a woman just has a ring alarm and a passcode to get it into a gate or something, and that's it. That's their security. They're safe. So barring a world war or blackouts or natural disasters that kill a lot of people and cause all kinds of economic pain, the reality is women need men less and less as time goes by. I have a cousin that's a lesbian, and she is morbidly obese. She is not good looking, and neither is her wife. Her wife is morbidly obese as well. But you know what? They went to a sperm clinic. They got a donor. They picked a donor out of textbooks of donors. Of course, they picked the guy with, blonde hair, blue eyes, a graduate degree. He's a music composer, and they used his sperm. And there you go. You have a kid that is going to give the genetics, a kid that's going to have the genetics that she never could have acquired on her own, just based on her looks and personality. So, if women really desire kids, they don't need a man for it. They don't. Men, if you want kids, it's a much harder process. Artificial wombs doesn't look like they're going to be created anytime soon, because we don't really live in a society that gives a crap about men. So women just need men less and less. Of course, there's women that love men. Of course, there's women that desire a nuclear family. I'm not saying all women or all women this, all women. I'm saying more and more as the years go by are opting out of family, are opting into career, opting into the labor force, and they don't view motherhood as something that is anything but oppressive and a waste of potential. That's what my other cousin told me, who's 22 and just graduated high school. Just graduated college. She doesn't know what to do with her life. She said she wants to go to law school because she feels like she's wasting her potential working at the coffee store. And that's her only way to fulfill her potential, whatever that means, is to go to law school. So that's how women think. And we get out of this mess of lower birth rates by doing nothing. That's it. That is how you get out of this. Not government handouts to people that have more kids, because that gets abused by bad actors. That gets abused by people that just have low-quality kids that aren't raised properly, and they're just doing it for the money. That's not what you want in your society. We fix this by doing nothing. That means absolutely under no circumstances importing millions of people. Under no circumstances. What you need is a recession, a depression, some economic pain that brings inflation down drastically, that brings housing prices to its knees. And that's going to hurt. And it's something we keep kicking the can down the road. But eventually, if not enough old people that are dying are being replaced, then there's less need for housing. There's a lot of more empty houses, and that makes the prices go down. And then you have men being able to buy a house. You have men desiring families, and men saying, hey, women, we have houses, we have our own places, we can have a family in here. And if women say no, which it seems like more and more of them are, well, we have technologies where women can just literally have kids without a man. They could just go to a donor, get a donor, and then bam, you've got kids, although they are dysfunctional in a one-parent household. That's it. That's how you get the birth rates back up, is you allow economic pain and hardship to come. You let things naturally correct themselves without government intervention, without mass immigration. And then men will see it worthwhile to start working hard again, to maybe pursue higher education. Because then, oh, maybe I can afford a house after a couple years in my 30s, not wait till 58, which I think is the average age of a home buyer right now. But that's it. So collapsing birth rates are not catastrophic. They're not bad by any means. It's a natural correction in nature. And people just have fewer kids when the incentives aren't there. Men, they aren't making as much money as women. Younger men, you know, Gen Z, millennials, they're making equal or less money than women. Men are not seeing it worthwhile to break their back when they can't even afford a house after working their ass off for years and years. They can't afford a house. They can barely scrape by. If those incentives return, men will rise to the occasion. They will work harder. They'll outwork women. And then women will see that and they'll want to marry up. And there will be more candidates for women to choose from. Because right now, as it stands, we're in a bad spot. We're in a very bad spot. And it's understandable birth rates are collapsing. But it's not something to fear. It's a natural progression. The only thing you need to fear is government overreach in fixing the problem. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys here today on the issue of birth rates. So quality over quantity and letting things naturally play out instead of importing replacements. That's it, guys. Women, they're choosing to go a different way. And it's unfortunate, but it might just be something we have to learn to live with. That's all I got for you, everyone. Take it easy. Peace.